Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Distributors Deliver podcast. My name is Eric Hoplin. I'm the CEO of NAW, and today we are privileged to have with us Clint Pulver. Clint, you are an expert on making employees want to stay where they are. How did you become an expert?
So we started a research study 6.5 years ago called the Undercover Millennial Program.
The Undercover Millennial Program.
Yeah, I'm a millennial. Yep. That's the generation I was born in. And so at the time when we did the study, I was young enough to where I could go in to organizations just like distributors have as a person who was looking for a job. Yeah. So I put on the backwards hat, the hoodie, and just literally looked like someone off the street. And I'd say, hey, to the first person I saw, I'm just looking for a job. I just wanted to ask someone that works here, what's it like? And then they always kind of look around, you know, it gets quiet, and then they would just tell me everything.
They just spill the
everything.
The tea.
100% the honest truth.
Sure.
What was causing them to stay, or what was causing them to head for the exit door. And the magic, after doing it, we've done it 6.5 years, 698 organizations, and I've interviewed over 11,000 employees undercover.
11,000, okay.
And the magic was found when employees would say, I love it here. I love my job.
Really?
You should apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my manager is unreal. Like the vibe, the culture, I like myself best because I work here. And then I'd go to the next employee and the next, and they would say the same thing. Why?
Yep.
Like, what were those leaders, what were those distributors doing to create that kind of dynamic? Because then I'd go 6 blocks down the road to the next warehouse, and it was a completely different story. It was a different culture. It was a wreck. What are the differences? And really, it was what those leaders were choosing to do and how they were writing a better story for their people. And so after doing it for so long, you start to catch on to the trends.
Yeah, you see some patterns.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're in distributorship, if you're in the medical field, in the tech industry, these universal principles that apply to human skills in a world that's full of AI, a world that's constantly being disrupted. Like, how do we get back to those core human traits where people just want to feel seen, they want to feel heard, they want to feel understood? Cool.
Yeah, so as you've been doing interviews of 11,000 people, and I'm sure everyone who's listening today, they're leaning in. Everyone wants to build an incredible culture. The cultures are different. They result in different things. But what do you think are some of the leadership, the key leadership attributes that the people exhibit that do make employees want to stay?
The first thing I'll say is when employees hated their jobs, they always talked about a manager.
Okay.
They described even a distributor, right? Like the leader. But when they loved their jobs, they described that individual as the mentor.
Ah, the mentor, okay.
The mentor in the story. Mentorship versus management, that's always what wins.
What's the difference?
And I think really if we were to give it a definition, like if we talk about leadership, the traditional definition of leadership is someone who stands at the helm of the ship and you cast a vision, right? You're the visionary individual, like a CEO, an executive. This is where we're at. This is where we want to go. We got to go from point A to point B to point C. And if you get people to do that, then that's great leadership. It's very entity driven. Management is about making sure there's no holes in that ship.
Yeah.
How do we get there faster, more effective, more efficiently? But mentorship was unique because mentorship was about taking care of people on the ship. It was how leaders got to the part about the individuals, not so much the entity. And mentorship is unique because it has to be earned. We give titles out in corporate America. You're the CEO, you're the director, you're the distributor, you're the operator. But your people, they're the ones that decide if you get to be the mentor. You can't become the mentor until the mentee invites you into their heart.
Okay, oh, that's interesting, yeah.
And so it was really unique to see how did these leaders attribute the characteristics and the traits to where people said, I choose you. I like myself best because I'm with you.
Yep.
And I could make more money down the street. I could maybe have a better schedule, but like I choose you. And that foundation was key. Mentorship versus management always wins.
You know, one thing I was curious about that is sometimes maybe it's your first or second job. You don't always know the difference between good mentorship and maybe bad or mediocre management. Well, how do people know that it's good? How do the people know that, this is the mentor and therefore I should stay here?
Yeah, I think first of all, for a leader to kind of go, well, how am I the mentor? How do I become the mentor? Sometimes you hear the phrase, you should be the leader that you wish you had. Like, be the CEO you wish you would have had. Be the manager that you wish you would have had. And every time I hear that, I think, no. You should become the mentor you were lucky enough to have. Like, who was the individual in your life that advocated? Who are the people that you chose? Who are the people that sparked the possibility? They believed, they took time to mentor and to guide and to advocate. And it wasn't just about development. It wasn't about just progress, but it was about you as a human, not just as an employee. That's a beautiful foundation to start with and to ask yourself, okay, what did that individual possess and how can I create those traits? We've also, after doing this for so long, we looked at these individuals that people consistently chose in the organization, and there were 5 characteristics. We call them the 5 C's of mentorship.
5 C's, okay, lay them on me.
Confidence, credibility, competence, candor, and the ability to care.
Ah, okay.
So if we break that down, confidence is a mindset. Confidence exudes trust. Are you confident in telling people through your communication, through your actions, listen, I can get you from point A to point B to point C.
Yep.
You stick with me, we're going to write a better story. If you're not confident, like that just doesn't, I can't trust that. Credibility, that's your background. So that's your history. That's your resume. Have you ever ran a warehouse? Do you know what it's like to be on 2 weeks of a 20-year-long career? Like, do you remember what day one felt like? What's your background? What's your history? Competence, though, is the ability to become a practitioner in leadership, not just a theorist. And I see this a lot where leaders are good on the theory side. They're good at like what it should be. They're good at casting the vision. They're good at talking about good culture, but they can't get in and create it. They can't get in and actually do the things that they're trying to motivate other people to do. And when there was a level of competency where I am a practitioner. I can do this.
Yep.
I've been on the warehouse floor. Like, I know what it's like. It just creates, again, more respect. It creates more buy-in. It creates relevancy. And then 4th is candor. It's not all sunshine and rainbows in leadership.
Yeah, sure. You got to tell the truth. Right?
And you got to
feedback.
Sometimes you have to have hard conversations.
Yeah.
And we got to uphold high standards. We need to be profitable. We need to grow. But the problem occurs, though, is when you try to make a withdrawal with an employee and you've made no deposits of trust. And so we can't have honest conversations. You can't uphold those high standards because there is no connection. I think that great mentors have the ability to create relationships so strong that honesty can exist. And this is where you become the advocate, not just the boss. When they know, listen, I know that Frank is not here to push me. And he's not just trying to pull me. He actually wants to walk with me. And when you earn the right to be the mentor, then we can say, all right, listen, I need you to do better.
Yep.
I need you to, this needs to change. We can have crucial conversations.
They're going to listen to you.
Totally.
Right? Because they respect you. And they think this is
and ultimately, you're right, because that leads to the 5th C, which is care. The ability to just give a darn.
Yeah.
When, again, they know.
That's really powerful.
Yeah. 5 C's. Yeah, it's powerful.
Now, so we got a lot of managers and leaders out there who are listening right now, and they're kind of scratching their head. Okay, we got the 5 C's. You know, have I been invited in to be a mentor just yet? I can't. But I've got to imagine there's a lot of leaders out there, a lot of managers who don't quite get into the mentor category just yet. What are some of the other leadership categories that you uncovered during your research?
Yeah, so we found that there's 4 different types of distributors, or 4 different types of managers, or 4 different types of doctors, or 4 different types of parents even. Yep. I could always tell going in undercover whether or not an organization was really thriving or if they were just surviving based off of 2 things, standards and connection. So standards in business that's the tangible side of what we do. So that's profitability, growth, metrics, production. Are we doing better than we were yesterday? Are we growing? The things that we can trace. Connection is the intangible side of business. So like the soft skills, it's purpose, passion, helping people to feel seen, helping people to feel heard or understood. It's when you realize as a leader, oh, like people that work for me have a life outside of work.
Yep.
And most of them are fighting battles that you have no idea about. And so those 2 variables, we've got the tangible and the intangible. So these 4 individuals, the first one was the removed individual. So they were lower on standards and low on connection. This would be a perfect example of burnout. Leaders that are just tired. Yeah. Like they should have retired 15 years ago.
Run their course. And
they're still here. And they're living for Fridays. They're just not engaged. And so therefore everybody else becomes disengaged from them. That is the result, disengagement. You don't care about me, why would I care about you? You don't even care about the company. Why should I care about the company?
Right, yeah.
The second was the buddy. This was the individual that the buddy was high on connection, low on
Oh,
standards.
so they want to be the friend of the employee.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
They're all about the relationship.
Sure.
We're a family.
The cool boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what this does is it creates a sense of entitlement. This is where the warehouse employees, they become more of the distributor than the distributor, because the distributor would rather be liked more than they're respected.
Ah, okay.
And so this mentality of entitlement, again, I just want to be your friend. The third and most common is the controller. So high standards
Yep.
and low connection. All about productivity, all about growth, all about metrics. Get your job done.
Yep.
Like, I'm not here to be your friend. Like, you want me to love you? Smile. We give you a paycheck.
Yep.
Like, tomorrow's going to be worse.
That's what the money's for.
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
great
Do your
percent.
job.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be your friend. Get it done. So when we're higher on standards, but you're low on connection, when we stop caring about people, then that creates rebellion. Because yeah. And so sometimes, I'll be honest, in our research, we found that sometimes that did get results. However, the results never lasted.
Okay.
And we're living in a world right now.
People just couldn't sustain it. They're
Correct.
too much control.
Well, and because people have options. Like, I could literally take a stone right now and I could huck it across this field and I would hit a business
Yep.
that's dying to retain your talent.
We got a distributor right across the
Totally.
way, Air
Totally.
Electronics. Yeah.
They would love to recruit your people. And people have options. And so it's not sustainable. Sometimes for short term, it gets results. The sustainability of that is literally zero. But the magic, though, and it comes back to the foundation of what we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, and it is mentorship, the mentor. That's the fourth individual. High on standards. We need to grow. We need to be profitable. We need to be safe. We need to make money. But I also understand that you're a person to be loved. And I got to advocate. And I got to make sure that you go home a better human. How can I make you a better dad? Not just a better employee. That high standard and high connection created respect. They were not always liked, but they were respected. And I think it's the difference between success versus significance in business, and watching that dynamic play out. And a lot of times we rotate in our leadership journey between all four. You know, even as a parent, it's like, oh, sometimes I'm the controller. Sometimes I check out and I'm the removed individual. But the goal is always to come back to that mentorship role. And it's just a beautiful place to live. And time after time, those were the individuals that people chose.
So, Clint, we're not going to be able to cover all the things that
Yeah.
you learned in your 11,000 interviews, but you did write a book. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Yeah, I'll never do it again. The book was the hardest thing I have probably ever done. It took me 4 years to write.
Yep.
But I'm so proud of it because it's not another leadership book written by a self-proclaimed leadership guru. Like, this was a book at that time that was written by 10,000 employees who knew what good leadership looked like to them.
Yep.
And that's something I'm really proud of. And I worked so hard to capture, again, their voice, but also the trends. I wanted it to be a practical book where you're not just reading, leadership theory, but it's full of actionable prescriptive takeaways. Like, try this today, do this tomorrow. Think of this individual. Like, I wanted it to be something that, like, almost it's like a cookbook. It's something that lives in the drawer of every CEO, of every exec, of every leader, that they reference. And it's something that daily you're reading. And it's something that I wanted to write a management classic, not just a one-hit wonder. And that took a lot of time, but I'm so proud of it. And I think it captured a different perspective. And I see that in leadership. Sometimes we just don't see really what's happening because of our title.
Yeah.
There's no incentive for an employee to walk up to a boss and really tell you what they think.
Oh, I sense that every day. Yeah. You wonder, what are they thinking? Huh?
And so that's, I think, the magic of the book is because of my age and because of the research, I was able to do that in a way that found those hidden truths. And the coolest part was going to the leaders after the research. And at the time when we started, we filmed. So we had a hidden pen. We had a hidden lapel camera.
Yeah, fantastic.
And then
so they got to see
we would
the
blur
video?
out faces. We would change voices. Like, the goal wasn't to
So
figure
they're
out or
hearing the
identify.
feedback, though.
100%.
Oh, I bet that was powerful.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. And so many of them, they didn't know. They didn't know. And they've done employee surveys. They did the one-on-one man. But, like, that's the magic of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so remind us of the title of the book, and is it still available? Where can they get it?
Yeah, thank you. The book is called I Love It Here.
I love it here. Okay.
And it's available anywhere that you can buy books. Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's also on Kindle. It's on audiobooks. I voiced the recording. I'll never do that again either. But I wanted my voice. I wanted it to be an engaging read, or an engaging listen. So Audible or physical copies. Yeah.
Well, Clint, you've had an incredible career, and one thing that I want the audience to take away and to know is that you're a world-class public speaker. You take these principles that you discovered as the Undercover Millennial, and you share it with businesses. So we're sitting here today in Denver, Colorado. We're at NAW's Shift Conference, and for the audience, if you were here with us in Denver less than a half an hour ago, Clint, you literally blew the doors off the place. I've been to a lot of events. I've hosted a lot of speakers. It was incredible. Tell us about your public speaking and what is it about it that you love?
Yeah, public speaking for me it's like the game of golf. You'll never master it, but it's really fun to try.
Yeah.
And every audience is unique. Every audience is different. I mean, what I shared today was totally different what I shared previously with another organization earlier in the week. And the rooms are different. And again, just like what I've learned through as a researcher, every audience is asking the question, let me know when it gets to the part about me. And the same thing happens in business, right? They're asking the same thing of you as the CEO. You're asking the same thing of your spouse or partner. Everybody wants to get to the part about us. And that's my job as a speaker. I want everybody walking out of there saying, he got to the part about me. And this was fun. It was inspiring, entertaining, but also prescriptive. Like I've got some nuggets, I've got some affirmations, I've got some things that reminded me of what I'm already doing. And maybe I walk out of there with a few challenges of I need to do better. I can ratchet up a few things in my life. And I think that's the beauty of a good keynote, the power of 60 minutes that can really spark the possibilities, a moment, right? It's a moment that I believe can change people. And so it's always a privilege to be on the platform.
There was some moments during the speech where you could have heard a pin drop in the room. I mean, everyone was hanging on the last moment, and then there were other moments where we got our drumsticks, and we are pounded on the table.
We were rocking.
These are distribution executives that they're used to working with spreadsheets and whatever else they do. I don't think they're rocking with drumsticks, and so you span the gamut. But one of the moments I thought that was really powerful is you told a story about someone who saw something in you. Tell us about the power of moments and experiences.
I was the kid that always had a hard time sitting still, and I would struggle in school to sit still. I would tap, I would move my feet, my legs. Even now, I still have a hard time sitting still. And I got teased, I got bullied. Everybody saw that as an issue. But I had one teacher, his name was Mr. Jensen, and he looked at me and he said, listen, Clint, you're kind of on the list. Like you get bullied, the other teachers talk about you. And he created a moment after class when everybody was gone, and he sat me down and he said, listen, I want you to know, I don't think you're a problem. I just think you're a drummer. And I remember thinking, like, what is he talking about? And he reached back and he opened up the top drawer of his desk and he reached inside and he took out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he put them in my hands and he said, listen, take them and just keep them in your hands and let's see what happens. And that was over 25 years ago.
And so what happened?
I became a drummer.
A real drummer?
A real drummer. I've been a professional drummer for over 25 years, and I've had the opportunity to tour and record all over the world. Played with amazing artists. I've done some amazing, just significant things that I would have never have had he not seen the moment and the opportunity. He took what everybody saw as a problem and he created hope and potential and possibility. And I think that's why I believe in those moments. I believe in what I do as a speaker, right? That you can say the right thing at the right time that can spark and change so much. And he did for me, and I'll never forget him for it. He's still a part of my life. My whole college education was paid for because of music scholarships. I started a group called the Green Man Group.
Okay.
And they provide full tuition collegiate scholarships for 26 drummers every single year.
Oh, fantastic.
And like, again, it's not the accolades, but it's just, again, the ripple effect of one powerful moment and how that significantly has hopefully helped other people in this world. It's a cool way to live.
Well, I think all of us want to have a little bit of Mr. Jensen in us. And you don't always know when you're going to have that moment that is going to create an experience that's going to have that ripple effect. But certainly that's what I think all good leaders aspire to.
Yeah, and I think it's what we remember. Mm-hmm. You know, we asked in the keynote today, I was like, tell me who the last NFL MVPs were. Who are the last 2 Academy Award winners for Best Actor? Who's the last Miss America?
Yeah, you got crickets.
And nobody knows, right? We can't but then when I asked, tell me about the name of the teacher that changed your life.
Yep, I raised my hand. I said, Mr. Kath.
Totally.
I could tell you in 3 seconds. Didn't have to think about it.
That's the power of mentorship. And why? It's because they got to the part about you. Mm-hmm. They sparked the possibility. They said no to a few things so that they could say yes to you. When you were with that person, I guarantee you liked yourself best. They represented the possibility of what could be, and it's that if we can do that, again, that's significance, not just success. And I think it's what makes leadership fun. It can be lonely, it can be stressful, it burns people out. But when you remember actually what you're doing, and it is to advocate, it is to walk with people, it is to help them write a better story. I just think it ignites a whole new level of purpose and passion. And when you have that as a leader, nobody wants to follow a pessimist. I've never met anybody that wants to follow a pessimist. Optimism matters. And when they find hope in you and what you do, not just what you say, but what you do, yeah, game over. Yeah, it matters.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask you one fun thing while we're here. I mean, I'm sitting across from a world-class drummer here. Tell me a story of some time that you were on tour, you're playing with Carrie Underwood or the Blue Man Group or some of these groups you were with. Tell me a fun story from your time on tour.
Yeah, so touring life is interesting. Everybody's like, oh man, you're the rock star. You know, like that's gotta, and it actually is really hard. It's a really difficult way to live a life. You're on the road a lot. When you're on tour, you're on tour. So there is no coming home. The cool part, I will say, is drumming is a unique instrument because most of the moments from tour and the things that I loved is when you realize that your feet and your hands are moving 50,000 people in an arena. And there's a reason why we call the seat of a drum set, it's called a throne.
A throne? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's called a throne. We call it a drum throne. And it's kind of because you're in charge. Like you're the king of that rhythm, of the beat. And man, so much of like whether you're a good band or not a good band, a lot of that falls on the drummer because that rhythm, we
saw it today just minutes ago. You had 400 distributors moving together with that rhythm that you created.
Yes, and so I think those are the most like significant moments on tour, and even still today, I love what I do now. And it's because if you can just step out of like the presentation and you just look in the eyes of people and you look at like where they're at and the stresses of life, and many of them are fighting battles that no one has, but for that moment, like they're totally entrenched in something that's magic and something that is, I think we have a heartbeat. We have a heartbeat. Like you walk, right, left, right, left. Like rhythm is a part of life. And I think when people tap into that, and music is universal, it's a universal language, and it's cool how that just connects people from all different walks of life, different ideologies, different political beliefs, religious, whatever you want. Like the rhythm, the beats, the connection that happens from drumming is powerful.
Yeah, we saw that firsthand. You know, I suspect there were a lot of CEOs in the room just now, and they hold a lot of meetings. They've got for their top salespeople, their top leaders, their top managers, their boards of directors, and they're always looking for great speakers. And I guarantee you, they're going to be calling me and say, Eric, how do we get a hold of Clint? So Clint, if someone's listening to this podcast, saw you at Shift at one of the events and wants to bring you in, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, thank you again. ClintPulver.com, just my name on the website. You can go on there, find all the information, watch the crazy fun videos of the experience that we create. It's not just a keynote, it's an experience. And then there's just a request form, fill it out, and a member of my team will reach out, and we'd be honored to come in and spark some possibility in your organization.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Well, I do a lot of public speaking myself, and,
Cool.
and one of my metrics is I'm always looking to see, are people on their phones,
Yes.
or their phones down, and so I always love it when I've got every eye in the room on me. But I got to say, the difference with what I'm looking for, what you're looking for, is just about every phone was up, but they were recording because it was a moment and it was an experience. And so, with your permission, we might add a little bit of footage from the event.
Let's do it.
It's going to be grainy. It's not going to be
Let's do it.
professionally produced because everyone's holding up their iPhone. But you got to see it to believe it. It was an incredible experience. And Clint, you're helping companies all over the country improve that employee experience. So thanks for everything you're doing, and thanks for joining us on the Distributors Deliver podcast.
It was an honor. Thank you.